every iPhone launch, Apple builds upon the success of their previous generation. The upgrades, though, are often very incremental and, let's be generous, call it evolutionary. This change is barely noticeable, especially cosmetically. This sparks the debate of whether this year's model is a worthy upgrade over last year's. Here's where I'd usually say, hey, this is what the phone has to offer, and wait for the full review. But today I'm not gonna make you wait for the review. In fact, I'm gonna throw in a spoiler alert right now. I'm not even gonna make you wait till the end of this video. If you are coming from the iPhone 12, don't even bother. But if you are coming from an older generation iPhone or anything else for that matter, go on, watch this video. My name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech. Let's get started. Here's the part where we crib about the omissions, the jack, the charger. It is what it is at this point. So I am gonna crib about it, but I'm not gonna really crib about it, whatever that means. Anyway, moving on, this phone is built extremely well and looks and feels every bit as premium as the iPhone 12. In fact, it has the same aluminum rail sandwiched between two panes of glass. The screen looks to be exactly the same at 6.1 inches. It's AMOLED, but this time around there is a change. The panel is brighter. If you look at the regular brightness, it can go up to 800 nits compared to 625. What do I mean regular brightness? Because there is HDR support, and with HDR, parts of the panel can boost up to 1200 nits, which is the same as the iPhone 12. But this whole 625, 800 thing it feels like deja vu to you. If you feel like you've heard all this before, it's only because you probably have, because the display on the iPhone 13 is pretty much the same display from the iPhone 12 Pro last year. Well, not exactly the same display because the notch is smaller this time around, and talking about which, we still have a 12 megapixel camera, which is the same as last year in that notch, and there is also the Face ID stuff, and the earpiece continues to double as a stereo speaker. Excellent stuff. Now the other speaker, we find that to the bottom alongside the lightning port and the primary microphone. As always, the power key is present to the right. The volume rockers, mute switch and SIM tray, they are located to the left. There's nothing up top. And to the back, the cameras, they are aligned differently, but that's where the changes end. We still have the same ceramic shield coating that Apple claims is 4x more shadow resistant than regular glass. But here's the big question, will this survive a 3.5-foot drop? And more importantly, if it doesn't, are people still gonna blame that on this not being Victus? Okay, enough with the stupid questions. Let's get back to the video. Where were we? Okay, performance. Like every other iPhone 13 series phone that's launched right now, this one also has a A15 Bionic at the heart of everything. So this is gonna give you the best iOS experience yet. The best whatever yet. That's basically what Apple says in their launch events. So I thought it would be a little smart to... It doesn't really sound that way, does it? I'm sorry, I'll see myself out. Anyways, I mean, you take a look at the A14 or even the A13 for that matter, they're stupid fast. So the fact that we didn't face any stutters here, micro or otherwise, in the time we spent with this phone, it wasn't really surprising to anybody. Now, technically the iPhone 13 has one GPU core less than the Pros, but the Pros also happen to be pushing twice the refresh. So the extra core is probably just gonna offset that extra resource drain. Other specs include 4 gigs of RAM, just like last year. RAM numbers are generally not worth discussing with iPhones because no matter what Apple puts in, their RAM management has almost always been exceptional. What has changed here though is the base variant. It's now 128 gigs compared to 64. So where we had 64, 128 and 256, we now have 128, 256 and 512. More storage, always nice to have. Now, if you look closely at the 12 and the 13, you'd notice a couple of things. First, the iPhone 13 is ever so slightly thicker than its predecessor and also happens to be about 10 grams heavier. Why, you ask? What Apple taketh, Apple giveth back. It's gone from 2815 milliampere to 3240 milliampere. And if you think that's an amazing thing, well, it actually dropped last year from what the battery was on the iPhone 11. So they kind of cut it. Now they're adding it back. Anyways, for now, it's a 15% increase. Apple claims this should result in over 2 hours of extra battery life. That's quite a positive to me, especially if you take into account that charge speeds haven't really changed. 20 watts wired, 15 watt MagSafe, 7.5 watts regular Qi wireless charging. Now with the cameras, the iPhone 13 has the exact same optics as the 13 mini. And we just saw that phone yesterday. So let me just quickly cut to a clip from that video. With cameras, there are no major changes. Now don't get me wrong, the 13 mini shares its setup with the more expensive iPhone 13, and they are damn good cameras. But compared to the improvements the pros have been seeing, these feel relatively boring. The ultra-wide on the 13 mini gets an upgrade from last gen, so it can gather more light than before. The daylight shots look sharp and detailed, at least initial impressions. With the primary, what is new is the addition of sensor shift technology. Now this is where the sensor electronically moves to compensate for user movements, further eliminating unwanted shakes and jitters. The new ISPs on board, they should help achieve better image quality, which does seem noticeable even with initial impressions. The dynamic range is great. The colors, again, just look at the blues of the sky or the greens of the tree here. I really like the cameras. Now speaking of colors, this time around we have something called Photographic Styles in the camera app. Well, at first glance, these might just appear as your regular old filters. Apple claims these are not just filters. Instead of applying the same parameters every single time, here they're going to be using AI or onboard AI to analyze the scene and then apply color settings accordingly. So it's going to kind of vary from situation to situation. How well it works, only time will tell. Lastly, video performance, both 4K and 1080p clips look really steady thanks to sensor shift. The video samples, they also looked sharp with great colors. That's something we've come to expect from Apple. And the cinematic mode that we saw yesterday with the iPhone 13 Pro, that's also available here. Can use it with both the rear as well as front cameras. Talking about which, the selfie camera does do its job, although I think it's high time Apple upgraded it. They've been sticking to that sensor for a while now. The images are good enough, especially when you look at them on a tiny display like this, but the competition seems to have improved a lot. So the performance delta is getting more and more noticeable each year. Now with that done, let's get to the pricing. The base 128 gig iPhone 13 starts at $79,990, which is quite expensive, but at least we do get twice the storage as last year, 64 to 128. And if you want that top 512, that's going to cost you a cool 1,09,900 rupees. But at that price, personally, I'd say, hey, go for the iPhone 13 Pro, right? Take a little bit of a hit on storage and get the Pro instead. But if you decide to do that, maybe you'd want to get higher storage on the Pro, in which case you might want to go for the Pro Max. That's how marketing gets you. So anyways, the bottom line is, like I said at the start of this video, if you're coming from an iPhone 12, the 13 probably has nothing to offer to you. I mean, very little. But if you have an older iPhone or if you're contemplating jumping ship, yes, I'm going to call you a traitor, but the iPhone 13 seems to be a solid phone. It is something you should probably look into. Apple seems to have, again, done a good job. Anyway, I'll have more to say in the full review. For now, there you have it, my quick take on the iPhone 13. What do you guys think about it? Love it, hate it, don't really care? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.